if you haven't heard, which you probably have, is that Sergio Perez and Racing Point are no longer. He will be leaving the team at the end of this 2020 season, so he's got 9 races left. And that essentially, it hasn't been confirmed yet, maybe by the time this video comes out on Thursday or by Friday free practice, that Sebastian Vettel will be joining Racing Point / Aston Martin for 2021. So this is breaking right on the air. I'd like to know what do you guys think about that?
We saw it all coming. But it was kind of it's like surreal seeing Sergio Perez leaving Racing Point because they've been together for 7 years. When you think of Sergio Perez, you think of Force India and Racing Point. So it's kind of weird seeing it in writing. But we all knew it was going to happen. Lance wasn't losing his ride, and we kind of had a figure that Vettel was going to head over to Racing Point with all the elbows that they've been giving each other and whatever. So it's interesting for Sergio because now where does he go? Does he go to Alfa Romeo, where was Sauber? He started his career there. Is there an open seat at Haas maybe that he can squeeze on into?
Does he want to go to Haas?
I don't think he has a choice if he wants to stay in F1. I think it's going to be one of those two.
I mean, he does provide Haas with a lot of money when he comes there, so that is that's going to be a benefit for them.
And I think Haas will be looking for someone who's experienced. Like, they don't want a young kid in their cars. They can't really afford that. So
it's interesting because it's sort of this whole Racing Point Sergio Perez situation is kind of like good news, bad news. Because on the one hand, if Vettel is confirmed for Aston Martin for next season, I'm happy because he stays in the sport. And I think he's going to be going to a much friendlier and much better environment for him than Ferrari the last couple of years, in terms of the fact that he could actually build something with Aston Martin, especially with the way that obviously the copy of Mercedes, whatever you want to call it. So they're going to have a decent car for next year, much better than Ferrari, if this year shows us anything, obviously. So he might actually have a chance to get some podiums next year and maybe even a race win if he's lucky, like Lance Stroll had the opportunity. So on that side of things, I'm like, okay, I'm really glad that Vettel's staying in the sport. He's my favorite driver. I think he's excellent for the sport.
He's moving up the grid.
He's moving up the grid, right? Yeah, which is hilarious. But at the same time, though, it's like, man, loyalty really doesn't matter that much in Formula One. I don't know if it ever did, but here's a guy, like you mentioned, Perez, with the team 7 years. Let's not forget he's the guy that saved a ton of jobs at Force India when they went into administration before Lawrence Stroll stepped in. He's brought them a lot of finances through his sponsors. And he's also helped build the team into the best of the rest in the midfield the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And now they're like, yeah, you know what, Sergio? Sorry, don't need you anymore. We're obviously not going to kick out the boss's son.
No, he's got a podium.
He's got 4th in championship, right?
He got the first podium in Racing Point history.
Yep.
You cannot do that.
True.
And it could be the only.
But see, that's the problem, though, right? Is like, I do believe Lance Stroll deserves a seat in F1, and I think he's been driving really well this season. But if I'm a team manager and you're saying, who do you want in your team? A Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel lineup would be phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I mean, there's also Williams next year. They have a brand new team, technically. New.
Okay, now you lost me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't see it happening?
No.
I'm calling it, boys, right now. Next year. Not at all. That's not going to happen.
No way.